for you. Decide one good small thing that you could do, very small. I'm talking the equivalent of like 50 calories. For example, you could go for a walk every single day for just 10 minutes. That's it. What's a good habit that's small that you could start to do every single day for the rest of your life? Maybe it's 3 minutes of meditation. Maybe it's 5 minutes of prayer. Maybe it's 5 minutes of deep breathing, or it's 5 minutes of reading. Maybe it's 5 minutes of walking outside. Maybe it's 5 minutes of just playing with your dog with no distractions at all. What's a very small thing for less than 5 minutes? And then also, what's a bad habit that you'll stop doing? A very small bad habit. Maybe it's putting sugar in your coffee or your tea. Maybe it's using like one of those bullshit artificial sweeteners, which are as bad as sugar, or even worse, because it's just got weird chemicals in. Maybe you just stop doing that. Maybe you stop putting in whole milk, which is full of estrogenic materials. You know, they've stuffed the cow full of disgusting stuff, and it's been bottled in plastic and everything. Maybe you just stop putting milk in your coffee. These 2 changes, if you can make it easy enough to literally follow them every single day for the rest of your life, and of course knowing you're probably still going to miss like 1,000 days, you'll be significantly, very significantly different 20 years from now, more than you'd realize. You know why? Just if we do the math, that literally just, you know, the splash of milk that you put into your coffee is like 30 calories or 50 calories, right? If we just do the math that if you had that every single day for 10 years, for 50, like 20 years, 30 years, there's the difference of like literally 50 pounds of pure fat. But, and never mind the estrogenic, testosterone killing effects of milk and everything. But also we know that one decision often leads to the next. And so if you stop, for example, putting in artificial sweeteners, you know, like 2 grams of sugar in your coffee every single day, because of the impact of that, you'd be more likely to create another really good change and another one and another one. And you become so different. I want to give you some hope. Now, I'm a little bit older than a lot of the guys who watch me. On average, our audience is quite young. It's like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm 26. I'm telling you right now, by the time you get to about 25, 26 years old, that's when you really start to first see the difference between you and the men your age. You know, when you're 18 years old, you don't see much. A lot of it's actually quite based on like genetics and early positive feedback loops. There's an absolute imbecile who's more popular than you and might even make more money than you when you're 18 or 20 or 21 years old, because they got the positive feedback loop. You know, there's a guy who's kind of attractive, but he's kind of like brain dead, and he doesn't even work hard, and he's getting more girls than you when you're 16 years old, or even when you're 21 years old, because he's got nicer hair, he's got a jawline, he's like more attractive. Give it another like 5 years when the compound effect takes off. Once you get to around like you're closer to your late 20s, it starts to become apparent when you see that like everyone you went to high school with, or let's say 90% of the people that you go to high school with, have gained like 20 pounds, 30 pounds of pure fat, because they've been drinking every single weekend for the last fucking 8 years. Even more because in these degenerate cultures in the UK, for example, people drink when they're like 15, 14 years old. So people my age have been drinking most weeks for about 12 years. Now, I'm still guilty of this because I drank heavily for a few years when I went to university, and I was like a degenerate and everything. But for the past few years, it's been very minimal. For the last 7-8 months, it's been absolutely zero. The compound effect is showing in my life and the people that I come across. And I think this is just the start. I wonder what it's going to be like 5 or 10, 20 years from now. I'm a patient guy. 20 years from now, what's it going to be when I'm the guy who I meditate 20 minutes every single morning. I don't miss it anymore. What's that one change going to lead to 20 years from now? This is what excites me of like the future of being on self-improvement, of watching stuff like this, of implementing these small things. If you are a long-term thinker, which you probably are if you've watched, like 2 hours of this video so far, there's a lot of power in these small changes. And I know that, we shouldn't be in the vibe of looking down at other people, but you can't help but in a way feel sad, but also in a way just feel super fucking happy that you're part of the enlightened group who understands the compound effect of self-improvement, of Kaizen, of progressive overload. Because the people that you've went to school with don't. And if you're younger than me right now, it's going to seem like this stuff isn't doing much because they're better than you in quite a lot of ways. And the difference will be fucking huge. And that's the start. Then every year after that, that's when, because the compound effect starts becoming exponential. That's when it starts to show. And it's like suddenly they're 35. They've actually got serious health problems. They've had their first major health scare right now. And here you are in the best health of your entire life because you've been improving your sleep for the past 10 years, 15 years. You've been exercising consistently for 15 years. You've been trying to improve your diet. You quit porn fucking 14 years ago. Compare that to the average guy who 10 years from now is literally going to be addicted to like the most most unreal sex bots available.